whenever there was an argument for bulimia, it's Brianna's.
What the fuck?
Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. You guys remember the 2000s? Yeah, I wish I didn't. There were some lows of the 2000s, and one of those huge lows being the fat shaming. So I was struggling to make an intro for this video just because I do know how much of a sensitive topic this is, and you click this video so you know it's going to be a sensitive topic. But there are a few things that I did want to fair warn to keep in mind before you watch the entirety of this video. Number one is that this will be more of a rant. This is something that truly pissed me off and still does piss me off, because if you are unaware of my story, I did unfortunately go through a near ED when I was in my early 20s. If not, did go through a full ED in my early 20s. I honestly am still processing it to figure out if it was or not. I do talk about it more at the end of my Insatiable video if you ever want to check that out. When I was younger, in my 20s, I was very restrictive of food, but it does piss me off, truly, because of what these movies, what society did to me personally, that I can only imagine did to so many others. For this video, if you were thinking that it would be more thoughtful, like going into the deep crevices of society and the mentality of society back in the day and the representation of body standards, I don't go as thorough into those details in this video, but more so highlight the absurdity of these 2000s movies. The tone of this video is definitely more towards what the f***, this is absolutely cracked. I cannot believe this happened. Let's look back at this together and see how absolutely cracked this was. Just a fair warning for that, for the expectations of this video. I am 100% pro body positivity, 1000% love your body, love who you are. Do not focus on whatever the hell society is telling you. Please just love yourself. And point number two, I do really want to say as well, is that a lot of this does have to do with these movies promoting being skinny in an unhealthy way. I will talk more so about that and how unhealthy these movies depicted being thin and being skinny. However, that is not to shame people who are thin and skinny. Again, all shapes and sizes are beautiful. All I hope for is that if you are that certain weight, that you are doing it in a healthy way and not doing anything harmful to your body. But unfortunately, with how these movies were depicting body standards, they were essentially saying how healthy wasn't attractive. And a lot of what these movies are promoting is unhealthy diet culture in order to obtain a thinner, societal standard acceptable body, and that's not okay. Just to be aware of that as well. It is not to skinny shame, it is not to thin shame. I just want to more so point out how unhealthy these standards were back in the day. Without further ado, I apologize because I was struggling with this intro. I originally filmed it and I'm like, I honestly didn't even know what to say in my original intro. So hopefully this gives you more context to the video. Hopefully it gives you more of an understanding. At the end of the day, this is all about body positivity, loving yourself, loving your body, and not doing anything harmful to your body to try and meet any type of standard. I just really wanted to do this also in a positive way where we can all collectively come together as friends, as besties, and be like, this was nuts. This was crazy. Let's look back and talk about it as besties because that was absolutely correct behavior. Let's just rant together about this. Now this, we obviously cannot talk about this topic without going over none other than the Devil Wears Prada. I was literally just talking about this with a friend, and I told her I just cannot believe that they tried to gaslight us into thinking Anne Hathaway was a size 6. Let's back it up a little bit. The Devil Wears Prada, if you're unaware, which hopefully you are, but if you're unaware, the whole premise of this is centering around Anne Hathaway's character Andy, who is not the model type, not into fashion, is simply just looking for a job, and she lands at this high fashion magazine. So in the context of this movie, I was thinking that yes, this actually makes sense in this movie. They actually did a good job with this because it makes sense with the movie and the world that they have built around this, exhibiting the beauty standards that were there during this time and in the modeling industry. So I was leaning towards saying, yes, you know what, Devil Wears Prada did it good. But then I got to thinking, and I have to be honest with you, I don't think The Devil Wears Prada did it good. And here's why. We have a couple lines in here. One of the first ones being, Andy is going to get lunch. It's one of her first days, if not her first day. And Stanley Tucci's character makes a comment about her clam chowder.
You do know that cellulite is one of the main ingredients in corn chowder.
And already I was like, are you actually kidding me right now? It's soup. It's soup. What do you mean? What do you mean? Piss me off already. Piss off number one. Piss off number two. He then goes into talking about how
none of the girls here eat anything.
Not since 2 became the new 4 and 0 became the new 2.
And Anne Hathaway's like, well, I'm a size 6. We'll get to that.
I'm a 6.
Which is the new 14.
Basically saying that in the modeling world, you gotta get even skinnier than what you think is skinny, which is absolutely absurd, but that was what it was. Him saying all of this in context with the modeling industry, yes, totally makes sense. There are also further comments where Meryl Streep then says that, oh, okay, Kat.
I said to myself, go ahead, hire the smart fat girl.
I said to myself, hire the fat girl. Can we not? Can we actually not? Emily Blunt's character, at one point she says, you eat carbs for Christ's sake. You eat carbs for crying out loud.
You eat carbs, for Christ's sake.
So just painting the picture and going to show how slim these models are. There's even more commentary on Emily Blunt's character in particular because she does say at one point, it's played up for comedy, but it's also like... Anne Hathaway's character says, wow, Emily, you look so thin. And she's like, oh, I do? Thank you. I'm on this diet where if I feel like I'm about to faint and pass out, I eat a cube of cheese.
I'm just one stomach flew away from my goal weight.
Which that in itself was played up for comedy, but in my head I'm thinking, is homegirl okay? Like, do we need to feed her a burger? Because goodness freaking sakes here. I can eat myself 4 slabs of Parmesan cheese and still want the whole charcuterie board. What do you mean? What do you mean a cube of cheese? That throwaway comment, right? All of these comments, and it gets to you. As a 10-year-old kid watching this, you do start to wonder, oh, am I too big for the standard? If Anne Hathaway is being called fat, then what does that make me? This is where I do believe they f***ed up, and I personally think if they really wanted to at least hammer in a message of, you know what, this is that industry and it's dangerous and we don't advocate for that, I think they should have at the very least, by the end of the film, I think it would have been great if they would have at least included in that scene where she's talking to her, I guess, currently ex-boyfriend, that she orders a bagel proudly. And he can either say, finally, you look healthy again. Oh, finally, you learn to eat again. You're not starving yourself anymore. Something like that, right? Where it just, it's not, you know, spoon feeding the audience or anything, right? But it's at least something. So that at the end of the day, we could take away as the audience. I was just crazy with that world and the world that Anne Hathaway was living in. But that's not the normal world. That's the model world. That's dangerous and unhealthy. But nah, we didn't get anything. Even this too, I thought about this too, even with Emily Blunt's character, because at one point she is crumbling, she is cracking under the pressure, and I think that would have been so easy to just put in there, that instead of getting hit by a car, maybe she faints in the middle of the street. What about that? Either way, she wasn't going to Paris Fashion Week or whatever, right? Why don't you guys bring that storyline back? She's in this insane diet with the cube of cheese, and then at the end of the day, it ended up getting to her because it was so unhealthy. And she is running around doing God knows how many laps around the city, picking up scarves. Just have her faint. Have her faint and have us as the audience go, oh, she's crumbling because she's doing too much. And then plus on top of that, her diet, she's not eating. She's not eating. That's the effects of it. Easy. For me, that would have been nicer, personally. Tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm insane. But I thought that could have been a nice, simple solution to just hammer it into the audience of, hey, this is not cool. Last cardinal sin here too, okay. Towards the end of the film, Anne Hathaway proudly says to Stanley Tucci that she is now a size 4. And she says that with her chest, guys.
Bet you're size 6 ass.
4.
Really?
Cheers.
Proudly, guys. And I'm sitting there like, are you proud that you starved yourself to get here?
I'm not even hungry anymore.
What?
That is why those girls are so skinny.
What are we doing? What are we doing here? And then she clinks it with Stanley Tucci. They celebrate that. And to me, I'm sitting here thinking that's not would be one thing, right? And pop off, right? Because there are people who do work out in a healthy way, and that's their prerogative. I myself do that, right? But in a healthy way, and that's their goal, and they're proud of it because they reach their certain goals. And in that case, you know, people are in their right to feel proud of themselves because that's something that they worked hard at and achieved at and are doing in a healthy way. You know, like they're going on runs, but they're eating a substantial amount. But in this case, I do not appreciate her proudly saying, or I don't like it. Call me crazy for it. I don't think that was the right thing to do in this movie. And then again, this never comes back though. That's the last weight comment that we get from this film. So
I have all these clothes from Paris and I don't have any place to wear them, so I was wondering if you could take them off my hand.
It's a huge imposition, and I'll have to get them taken in. I mean, they'll drown me.
Can I also add into size 6, by the way, is totally normal, totally average weight. Nothing wrong with size 6, please. Overall, I have to admit, as much as I love this movie, I adore this movie. Don't even get me wrong, okay? I've also had another video on this channel complaining about this movie, funny enough. But I love this movie, I swear. I swear I love this movie, I swear. But that was fucked up. That's just my 2 cents on The Devil Wears Prada. I don't think that they did that well. I think that that was an example of harming a generation. Now this one's crazy. This is absolutely wild with the comments themselves, because the comments themselves, diabolical. We have Bring It On, All or Nothing. And this is the one that got me inspired to do this video, because what the actual hell? This one, I put in the middle of it, doing it decently okay, but also I'm still not giving it any claps, but I will give it credit for some of what it did. Honestly, overall, pretty problematic. Not even gonna lie to you. This is all about cheerleading. So in the context of cheerleading, they had some absurd standards with cheerleaders back in the day, and they had that standard of being extremely thin. So in this case, I do understand this being within the context of the film, but me personally wanting them to say something about it, like, fuck that, like, do you have to be this thin to be a cheerleader? Absolutely not. First thing that we get here, okay, we have these bitches, right? We have these pool of bitches, and they're talking smack. They're talking some smack about this girl, and we have our girl Brianna over here. She's the victim. And I feel so bad because I really hope the actress knows how absolutely fit she was. I hope the actress did not take any of the comments seriously. We have the scene here, and these pool of bitches are gossiping and talking shit about Brianna, and they're saying, if there was a case for bulimia, that would be it.
If ever there was an argument for bulimia, it's Brianna's.
Are you kidding me right now? Dude, what a line. What an actual line. That's disgusting. I know that they're trying to paint this girl up to be a bitch, but damn, that's much. It's one thing in these movies that they're calling them fat or pig, all disgusting things. But to talk about an eating disorder like that, I just... Oh! So she says that disgusting line, right? And the other girl, okay, we have Hayden Panettiere. She says, she's not that big. She gained a little weight.
So she gained a little weight over the summer. She doesn't look that bad.
And then the other one says she looks like a cow.
The girl's a cow.
And I'm over here thinking, am I blind? Do I need prescription eyeglasses? Because what the actual fuck are they talking about? You look at this girl, and her body is absolute tea. Okay, what are you saying right now? What language are you speaking right now? I don't understand. It's not comprehending for me. The math is not math. Afterwards, unfortunately, Britt does get in her head.
Just a couple pounds more than last year. And that was pushing it.
And she says, let's put it this way. This cheerleading squad has never had a fat cheerleader. Oh.
Civic Fest has never had a fat cheerleader.
Again, I'm not one to call anyone fat. I'm not judging anyone by their body size. Everybody love your bodies. But objectively, okay, we can all agree. We can all agree that she is fit as f***. What do you actually mean? And again, this is just the absurdity of the 2000s because in society standards of what fit is, what healthy is, you know, what have you, like, they're fit. They're fit. I think that's the one part that honestly f***ed us all up because we saw them and them getting called fat because they weren't actually stick thin. That f***ed me up good, dude. I don't know about you, but for me, I looked at that and I was like, oh shit, I need to do some sit-ups right now then. This continues on where that bitch continues making comments like that. She says that there's this girl on this other cheerleading squad that is so fat it looks like she swallowed 2 Briannas. We got our final scene about this. Still don't think they nailed it here, but it's not the worst thing, I guess. But I feel like they could have done a better job, obviously. So we have our final scene here where they show Brianna almost fainting. Consequences, right? Consequences. So like I was saying before that I was hoping for Devil Wears Prada that they at least showed something. They could have with Emily Blunt's character, but they didn't. So here they at the very least show some consequences because they then verbally say it's that stupid diet that you have her on. She's not eating anything.
It's that stupid diet you've had her on. She hasn't eaten all day.
And they're like, yeah, ever since that you called her fat, this has been what's happening. At the very least, they make that comment, right? It's a stupid diet. We don't appreciate that. And they show her nearly fainting because of that. I at least appreciate that. Hayden Panettiere's character, she apologized to her.
Look, I never should have embarrassed you about your weight.
And then Brianna, the character, says, that's okay. I got a fat ass. My whole family got fat asses.
I got a big ass. Runs in my family. We're just a big ass family.
And that's basically it. And so for me, for that, I was like, bruh. I mean, she does have a nice ass. I love that ass. But I also didn't appreciate that they kind of laughed it off and are just almost affirming that she's fat. Almost. Just the choice of words, right? Because they just kept calling her fat this entire movie. So her affirming that, I don't know. Personally for me, I would have preferred her being, you know, it's fine, I'm fit, and y'all just can't handle it. Period. If she would have clocked it, said some shit, then I think I would have liked it better. I would have been like, okay, that's not so bad. But yeah. Tell me which one you find the most insane out of all these movies, but I thought that one was just nuts. Nuts. Moving on. The next one I want to talk about real quick here, which in terms of the film and the character that's a bitch that's doing this, makes sense, but they don't really do anything with this. It was just something that I wanted to mention because it does come up twice in this movie at least, so there's that. And it just adds on to the gaslighting of us thinking that this this was okay and that the body standards were supposed to be even thinner than healthy and just these absurd body standards. So anyway, we are presented with this character, Sarah Paxton's character, that she's supposed to be an absolute bitch and overcritical, because there is this whole montage sequence where she's examining all the girls that are trying to be in her sorority house, and she's looking at them and she says nitpicks about every single person. She talks about someone's hair being too big, someone having too big of pores, all these things. So we know her as a character, she's overly critical. So we can't really take what she says seriously. So there's that, right? However, she makes comment to this girl that is supposed to be one of the sorority sisters, and she puts her on kitchen duty and says to another one, that is what you get when you put on 27 pounds of breakup weight.
That's what happens when you gain 27 pounds of breakup weight over the summer.
Mind you, yet again, this is a very normal looking girl.
Why are we still here?
So she says that. And then this one only appears one more time in the film, where the girl herself, I don't even think she has a name.
Excuse me, Amy, you've been reassigned. Kitchen duty.
She comes up to Sarah Paxton's character and she's just like, hey, I've been doing this new diet and I already lost 5 pounds. And then Sarah Paxton behind her back is just like, yeah, and I think your ass found it.
The diet's working. I lost 5 pounds.
I think your ass found it.
Which also, what is this shaming of the ass? What is especially the shaming of the ass in particular? Because the way that all of us, maybe I can't speak for everyone, but the way that me, and the way that I would say quite a few people in today's day and age want a nice ass, want a nice juicy ass, but the way a nice juicy ass was so shamed, a nice peach, a juicy peach, it just floors me, guys. It's shameful to have a peach. A peach! Sarah Paxton says, I think your ass found it with the 5 pounds. I would be like, thank you. Thank you. I hope so. I hope my ass is finding those pounds. That's what I'm working for. That's what I'm eating for. Oh, the way that would have been a compliment to me. They didn't really do much with it. Not really like trying to say anything with it. It's just mostly showing that this girl's a bitch. So it's not like they did anything great here, but I just wanted to mention it because it was another thing that stood out to me that I remember in that movie as well. And then lastly, creme de la creme. Speaking about fat asses, we cannot talk about that unless we talk about Regina George and her iconic fat ass.
Where you going, fat ass?
Mean Girls, I think, is a weird one because while I think for the most part it was very satirical, obviously, they have a lot of jokes in there that you can argue would not be appropriate for today. One of the through lines that it was made to be a joke until it kind of wasn't, it was just so strange. So we have Regina George, and she keeps saying throughout the film how she wants to lose 3 pounds.
I want to lose 3 pounds.
You're crazy.
I really want to lose 3 pounds.
We even have outside commentary from her boyfriend, Aaron Samuels, and he literally says to her face, you're crazy.
You're crazy.
And she's just obsessed with losing 3 pounds, right? She keeps counting her calories, asking if there's sugar in certain things. She is on it. But I think that was the point, right? Is the absurdity of it, because we see how she looks, how fit she is, and yet that's still not enough for her. She wants to lose 3 pounds. And so us as the audience, I think we do see the absurdity in it. I think they do play it up because it is a specific amount, right? It's just 3 pounds, right? So they play it up for the absurdity. However, where it starts getting lost, unfortunately, is in the later half of the movie. They do start apparently making her gain weight from these bars. But then during that portion, we as the audience are made to think that she is gaining an absurd amount of weight when I think she still looks the same. Obviously, there's the famous cafeteria scene where she's sitting down and she says that sweatpants are all that fits her. And then she bumps into some girl and she's just like, watch where you're going, fat ass. And then she turns around and we see her ass and it looks good. It looks good. But it didn't seem like her body changed much.
Where you going, fat ass?
You know, to the point where they were making it a big deal where it's like, oh, I can wear sweatpants.
Sweatpants are all that fits me right now.
Can't fit into skirts right now. Yes, you can. What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't, what? And then again with the girl calling her fat ass and shaming that ass where it shouldn't have been shamed. That's where I feel like Mean Girls kind of lost it a bit there. It was just trying to make the audience. I know, again, it was part of the plot. It was part of the scheme. It's supposed to go, oh, she's ruining her life. She was so focused on losing weight and now she's making her gain weight. Blah, blah. It's part of that. But it just didn't seem like her body changed. That's where it just kind of personally took me out of it. And obviously, again, like the movie, it's Mean Girl, and that is mean girl behavior. It is Exhibit A in the context of the film, showing how mean girls can be, and especially in the 2000s, yes, when everybody was obsessed with weight and diet culture and all that stuff, it does make sense in the context of this. I don't know, just personally, it just kind of loses me with that plot line. Show the dress, that it can't fit her, that it's only sizes 1, 3, and 5.
It won't close.
It's a 5.
Okay, it must be marked wrong.
Dude, you're telling me she's more than a size 5? Wait, but then if she's not a 5, then what does that make me? And all, with these movies, can we just agree that we're happy that this isn't really featured in movies anymore? Can we all collectively sigh and agree with that? Yes, unfortunately, there still is that diet culture with Ozempic happening now, but it is more so with celebrities and what celebrities are choosing to do for themselves, whereas for the actual films like this and movies that are targeted towards younger girls and younger audiences, they don't seem to be commenting on this anymore. They don't seem to be fat shaming anymore or commenting on diet culture or anything like that, promoting anything unhealthy. So at the very least, I'm happy that we have made progression there. And overall, it's just a shame that with these movies, for the most part, I don't think they did a really good job with making a comment of, hey, this is not okay. We shouldn't be doing this. The most that really did it was Bring It On, but even then it was just kind of, But yeah, with the rest of these movies, it was, yeah, definitely very unhealthy promotion for body standards there. Happy that we can promote positive body positivity and loving ourselves and our bodies and not fixating on diet culture, not trying to starve ourselves and fit into certain sizes and things like that. And if we are trying to work out and get to a certain size, to do it in a healthy way and have it not be the only focus of our lives and not have people fat shame others, and be kind. Please be kind. Please be kind to each other. You know, if there is any of these that you think, you know what, yeah, it made sense in the context of the films and maybe we weren't meant to take it seriously, but I just thought in terms, too, of younger audiences watching these, right? Because I myself was watching these when I was a kid, and, you know, you don't process satire as well, I would say. At least I didn't as a kid. So when I watch these movies now, I can think critically and think, oh, yeah, like, that's absurd. But as a kid, you're not 100% sure on that, right? So for me, that was kind of the main thing as well, is that, you know, these movies were presented to us as children. And unfortunately, they gave us some absurd body standards, and that's not cool. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if this also f***ed you up like it did for me. Thankfully, we're trying to unscramble that mentality, which is good. Let me know if there was any other examples that I missed. Those were just the main ones that really stood out to me, where it was prominent in those films and just kept coming up in those films. But yeah, let me know if there was any other ones that I missed. Let me know which one you think was the craziest. All in all, love yourself, love your body. What anybody else thinks, you're lovely and you are loved. Love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.